So each year I do a reading for myself for the year ahead. And I have the pleasure of doing this with an audience because I do it as part of my tarot workshop in January. Now, the card that defined May in my reading for the year ahead was the Eight of Swords. And sure enough, throughout May, the Eight of Swords cropped up in every reading I did for myself. And it's been very much a month of letting go of self-limiting beliefs. Unfortunately for me, the card that defined June in my reading for the year ahead was the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is being often feeling overwhelmed by worry and anxiety. Each of those swords is a thought. Each of those thoughts is in my head, and basically it's that time when you just go round and round and round and round, overthinking the same problems until everything feels overwhelming, stressed, anxious, begins to affect your ability to cope, begins to affect your sleep, often your health. Definitely not a card I'm happy with. Most people aren't. So yesterday I was sat at my desk and I was doing lots of mini readings trying to understand this card for me in June. And before I knew it, I was going through lots of little readings. Is it to do with money? Is it to do with health? Is it to do with the children? Is it to do with work? And I began to realize I was actually entering this state. Instead of using the cards to help me to navigate this, I was getting sucked further into this big concept of worry. Now, I truly, truly believe the future's not fixed. I truly believe that we can use the tarot cards to help create the best future for us, particularly with the minor arcana. And it was a wake-up call. If I was with a client, I think I would have woken up a lot quicker. When it's us, when we're reading for ourselves and it's our anxieties, it's very easy to get caught up in them. So I stopped all of those readings and I said, okay, I accept in June there will be some anxiety, there will be some worries. I accept that. What do I best do to navigate it? Now suddenly the cards got different. My first card is the Star. To me, the Star is very much about redefining your wish. That's that star, that beautiful 8-pointed star. The Star tells us how to make our wishes come true. First of all, we have to define them. That is the Star. Then we have to put half of our energy onto our inner work. That's the water into the pool. And half of our energy onto the actual physical work of getting it done. That's the water onto the earth. So that was a wake-up call that I've definitely moved into overworking, neglecting my inner work, and I've lost sight of my vision. The next card is the Ace of Wands. To me, this is the wake-up card. I often envisage this as literally being a slapped on your forehead, a wake-up card. That's how I do it. To me, this is saying, I do think the Nine of Swords in this case, I think, is me being overwhelmed by the new responsibilities of being a single mum, running the show on my own. And I think the Ace of Wands is that if I can just get this vision right, if I can remember what I want my life to look like, I will know how to do it. And then, I can make the changes I need to. And maybe, if we're remembering this is coming from the Nine of Swords, maybe some changes maybe I will have to adjust my lifestyle to changes that are thrust on me from the outer world. But if I've got these two in place, then whether this is changes that I choose to make or whether this is changes for the better or the worse, I think I can roll with it. Card at the bottom of the pack, always so important. Ace of Swords. Now, to me, this is success in adversity. How do we navigate difficult times? By always being honest. The Ace of Swords is truth. Always being honest. If you're in debt, hiding the bills under the mat's not going to help you. If you're in debt, ringing the debt line, looking at your income, looking at your outgoings, that's what's going to help you. So the Ace of Swords is honesty, truth and having a goal and working through it. And what a beautiful reminder that the Nine of Swords is having too many worries, too many things for June, sort of like bearing down on me, and that by readjusting my viewpoint, I can deal with them one at a time. So I know this is a very personal reading for me, but I hope it illustrates that if you're worried or anxious about something, don't keep rereading for the same question. Ask, how can I deal with this? What do I need to know? How can I best navigate this? Ask your cards, just say, help me. It is much better to use the cards to rise above problems than to minutely try and understand the tiny details of the bad things that you perceive are going to come. So my number one advice when it comes to questions and spreads is make them helpful. Get them to lift your vision out of your problems into managing, coping, navigating.